You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Oh, let me tell you something. I am so sick of Washington and all its works and all them politicians down there and them congressmen. I'll bet you won't find none of them congressmen turning down their electric blankets tonight. Which if they did, their secretaries would get up and go home.
We gotta do something. Absolutely. You know what we gotta do? Toga party.
Toga! 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 Toga!
Click, click, boom! I'm coming down on the stereo, baby on the radio. Click, click, boom!
I want you to kill every golfer on the course.
Check me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but if I kill all the golfers, they're gonna lock me up and throw away the key.
Helps if I remember to hit the right button. Hey, good evening, folks. It's Friday night. Welcome to the After Friday Night Lights edition of the Robinson and Wright Show. That's right. It's high school football season, which means occasionally this show will be later than intended. However, I am one half of the crew, Mr. Rick Robinson. The other half is, of course, Mr. Dan Wright. And I just have to say something because we just found out this show has been approved for iHeartRadio. I give it 30 seconds before they change their minds, but we're going to take off and run with it while we're here. So good evening, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing good. Weather has been down into like the 50s every night, so you get nasal Dan tonight. But
oh, no.
Other than that, things are going pretty good.
Not nasally Dan.
Nasally Dan.
No, I'm just kidding.
The weather gets cool, and Dan's old allergies just kick right on in.
Actually, what we should probably do is adjust your sound just a bit to try to compensate for the nasally. All right, that probably will sound at least a little bit closer to normal. All right, so anyway, lots of stuff going on in the news. Trump has taken a page from NASCAR and taken a sharp left turn and then another sharp left turn, which, you know, I almost understood the reaching across the aisle. I really did, because that's what we say we always want our side to do and we want the other side to do when it's their turn and our turn and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But what I don't understand is reaching across the aisle to give the other side everything that they need to put themselves in the first positive light they've had in a very long time, with us a few months from the midterm season kicking off. Because here's the thing. Now, again, the narrative has shifted because, you know, there's still the diehard folks talking about Russia this, Russia that. But now the media has latched onto the fact that Nancy Pelosi, who is now being called the puppet master, is basically pulling Donald Trump's strings because she got everything she needed to get to make this work for the short term, and it makes them look good and us look stupid. And as if that wasn't bad enough, because, you know, I get the, you know, because I've heard a lot of people be like, well, it's a 3-month agreement. We'll do a negotiation once we're not being distracted by a hurricane, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Okay, so even if I give you that point, why the hell was he out stumping for Democrats and talking positively about someone who was voted with him 53% of the time while slamming Jeff Flake, who, yes, I don't much care for either, but actually does vote party line 97% of the time. But Trump eviscerates him and starts patting a Democrat on the head. She's pretty nice. She's a pretty great lady. You guys got a good blah, 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 blah here. And I'm just like, really? I mean, it just, I don't know. It's like he did a complete 180. And I'm not sure he's going to come back from it because he's eating up the adulation of the left. And right now, the scary thing is he doesn't even realize that they're playing him.
Vic, he's a Democrat.
Well, I understand that he's a Democrat. That's something that I've always said from day one. That's why I thought it was hilarious when his own children couldn't vote for him in the primary because they weren't smart enough to change their registration. But at the same time, I mean, and again, it's not like I didn't see this coming, but what astounds me is we still have people like Mitchell and Hannity that are still trying to spin this crap. Talking about Trump's 4D chess, 4,000 move chess game that nobody else can keep up with but him, and how Nancy Pelosi is now apparently wonderful. I'm sorry, Jurassic era Barbie has never been wonderful. Jurassic era Barbie gave us the ACA almost single-handedly, and now he's siding with her. I have a problem with that. I don't care if you don't have a problem with it, but I'm just telling you that I do. And I'm getting lambasted because I'm not carrying the water for Trump. I've never been a water carrier for Trump. I've never pretended that I was a water carrier for Trump. I am somebody that's going to agree with him when I agree with him and disagree with him when I disagree with him. And I wholeheartedly disagree with pretty much every move he's made in the last week. Sorry, I had a lot to say.
I agree with you on that 100%. Watching him this last week, I've been like, what? I mean, well, I haven't been questioning much of anything because I've been like, this is kind of exactly what I expected to happen. Really starting to turn into exactly what I expected to happen. But hey, things could change, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he could change sides again. Who knows?
I mean, we have seen in the last 2 years, I mean, is the term flip-flop going to come back in? Because it sure was around there for a while, an awful lot. I'm a little, I don't know. I'm a little disheartened. I mean, it's not unexpected for me, but just to watch, the whole thing is getting tired. Listening to hardcore Trump supporters just do everything that they've complained about the left doing for years for their wonderful candidate, and it's all just starting to really get, to me, just get really old. Everything's just really old.
I mean, you know,
we were talking about it before we went on the air. I mean, you know, just listening to these people, no matter what he does, no matter what he says, it's wonderful. Even when it comes down to literally not even just cooperating, but acting like Nancy Pelosi is his best friend. And it's just, I don't know. I don't get it, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, I really don't understand it. I mean, I'm not surprised by it because, again, you know, you and I have been pretty much on the same page all the way through the election cycle. We were opposed to Trump. We didn't want Trump to be elected. And then when Trump got elected, we're like, okay, so we can't cheer for the iceberg. Except now he's the dumbass steering us toward the iceberg, and nobody but us is calling him on it.
Exactly. I mean, It's been, you know, I was really kind of hoping after 2016 and once the election was over and, you know, once Trump got in and everything else, I was hoping everything would calm down a little. It's gotten worse. It's way, way worse now than it ever was during the election.
Oh, yeah. I mean, part of it, we've been on this sensitivity overload since the Obama era, because the problem was and I think you and I have touched on this before, but the problem with the Obama era was that should have been the end of race baiters like Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and all these other morons that have made money off of making black people feel inferior and then stepping in to be their heroes and make them feel important again. Because they didn't have a leg to stand on anymore, because we actually elected an African American as president. An African American was able to attain the highest office in the land, and they saw their careers coming to an end. They saw their gravy train coming to an end. So they started doing everything they could to spin up and gin up as many people as they could. And the problem is they did too good of a job, because if you remember, under the Obama administration, at least once a year we had a town on fire somewhere. Nobody talks about that anymore. Under the Obama administration, we had people basically walking up on cops and just shooting them in their cars. Nobody talks about that anymore. So what we have going on now is all of that's taken a much darker, more sinister turn, because now it's kind of gone back underground again, other than Antifa, because they, up until recently, have been getting a pass for all their stupid crap. But at the same time, we have the folks like Antifa that are now being looked at, even in some places in California, as a possible gang. I'm not sure why it took them that long to figure that out. And then we have folks from Black Lives Matter. One of the most interesting things stories I think I've seen that is not hurricane related or Trump related over the last week was an article that I saw that was put out, and I had planned on trying to have the audio ready for tonight, and unfortunately I did not have time to get it done, but I've touched on it throughout the week. There was a very high-ranking member of the Black Lives Matter movement who basically put out a video telling everyone that they needed to retire the phrase white privilege and reinsert the phrase white supremacy, because anytime they were talking about white privilege, what they were actually talking about was the fact that white people feel superior to everybody else. So they should just call it what it is, which is white supremacy, which is stupid. Because as somebody who looks white, I'm not even necessarily going to call myself a white person, because I have Native American ancestry, even though you can't tell it from looking at my pictures. But at the same time, I don't have any white privilege. There's not some white privilege fairy that comes down and says, oh, by the way, you're going to win an extra lottery ticket more than anybody else, and because you're a white guy, we're going to give you a Lexus instead of the Chevy that you're driving. No. I had to work for everything I have just like everybody else. It wasn't my skin color that got me where I am. It was the fact that I'm somebody that no matter what doesn't ever give up. That's what it takes. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. Doesn't matter what family you were born into. Doesn't matter what demographic you were born into. Unless you were born with a silver spoon somewhere that the sun don't shine, then you've got to get up, get off your butt, and work for whatever you want. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to get it. It doesn't have a damn thing to do with skin color. And the fact that all these people have now suddenly decided that white supremacy needs to be the new phrasing used for white privilege, which was an asinine statement in the first place, just makes me want to punch them in the face. Because the simple fact of the matter is, if you're telling me that you feel like I'm superior to you because I'm a white person, that is your problem, not my problem, because I'm not superior to anybody. And I have 3 shows on iHeartRadio. Just pointing that out there. Sorry, had to throw that in there.
Oh my gosh. You have 3 shows on iHeartRadio?
I know, right?
It's because you're white.
I know. It's that whole white supremacy thing. You know,
right. Well,
never mind the fact that G's on
Is it my privilege? Is it my white privilege that had me work yesterday from 6:30 in the morning until almost 11 o'clock last night, get home at almost midnight, and then get back up at 4:30 this morning? I love my privilege. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's the privilege of getting up, working your ass off, living paycheck to paycheck, and praying at the end of the week you've still got money for food. That's a great privilege.
Right, working those 16, 17-hour days occasionally, and always working, at least 10 to 12. But when you get those 16 to 17s, you look at it as great. I get to work my butt off, and it's not going to show in my paycheck because my paycheck just went up a pay scale.
Dude, I hated that.
I'm literally just working for taxes right now.
Because because back before I worked where I work now, I worked for Southwest Airlines. And when we got busy, they had mandatory overtime. Well, the first 3 weeks that we hit the floor, they had 4 hours of mandatory overtime every day that we were on the floor. Well, for mandatory overtime, you got paid not time and a half, but double time. So for 12 hours worth of work, I was supposed to be getting paid for 16. By the end of that, it was nearly a month. The first 2 paychecks, by the time they had taken out the union dues, the medical cost, the extra taxes, and all the extra things that come with working so many extra hours on a paycheck that you're really not supposed to have to work, I made a whopping $20 more a paycheck for working an extra 40 hours. Fun times.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous, and then. You get well, it's okay. You'll get it back at the end of the year. I don't want it back at the end of the year. I want it now. I just worked all these hours. I want it now. And yes, if I work, if I got kind of a cutoff. It's like right at about 55 hours. Because if I work 65 hours, I basically bring home the same as if I work 55 hours. Basically the same, like you said. I mean, the difference is, maybe 20, 30, 40 bucks. For 10 hours of time and a half, I get an extra 40 bucks, which is a very small fraction of the 10 hours. Because they put you into a higher tax bracket. That's the way the IRS works now. Everything's done electronically. So when you work more, your tax bracket goes up. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It really is. And it's been that way for quite a few years now, when everybody went to doing electronic payroll. It's the computer automatically does it. Whatever you make that week is what the computer assumes you make every week. Why can't it be on an average? Why can't it be on a pay curve? But that's the way the IRS wants it. Because the more money they can take in, they don't care about what they got to give you back later. They're just worried about the more money they can take in now.
Yeah, dirty little secret that I know based on where I work now. If the federal government knows that they typically pay you money every year, they usually don't care if you even submit your taxes for at least a 3 to 5 year span, because then they get to come at you 3 to 5 years later and be like, hey, you get to file for X amount of years, all in this order, and if you don't get them done, we're going to start sending these guys after you. And then if you do get them done, we're going to get to chew up all of this money that we were supposed to give you in the first place, and then still give you what's left over. Maybe if you have anything left. So I mean, you just...
Right. We're going to hit you with penalties because you didn't file the paperwork, even though you let us keep your money.
But see, I mean, But see, that's
disgusting.
That's another thing that concerns me about Trump siding with the Democrats this week. This, to me, puts the whole tax reform idea in jeopardy because the Democrats don't want tax reform, and he's not going to piss off his new friends because he's got them not talking. He's got them not talking about him in the media now. The scariest thing is Nancy Pelosi is really coming off as the puppet master, because it was funny because I heard audio this morning before I went and found out that she was actually being honest. When I was getting dressed this morning, she was talking about how after their little closed door session, she had pointed out, that, well, Mr. President, these DACA people, they need your reassurance that you're not going to do anything during this time where you're kicking things back down to us to see if we can get it fixed. Within 10 minutes, I guess it was a phone call that they had after the meeting. And apparently within like 10 minutes of that phone call, he puts out the tweet and says, for everybody that's worried about DACA and actions, don't worry, no actions for the 6 months that we're reviewing. And no, I'm not reading the tweet word for word. But it was just insanity, because as soon as he put out that tweet, she went around all the media outlets and basically said, I got the president to put that out there. I mean, he's being played, and he doesn't even know it.
She trolled all of his supporters on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that. I mean, she put out her tweet about it. I mean, literally, it was. You know, a friend of ours, Brick, he noticed it. He put out a tweet. He said he actually gave her kudos. He said he told her, you know, basically kudos on an epic troll, because she did on social media. She put it all over social media. You know, I mean, she used Trump's own tactic. So, you know, I personally, I will revisit this. He, to me, is just showing his true colors. He's a Democrat. He's always been a Democrat. He's just being a Democrat. Told you so.
I mean, yeah, I get
that. That's all I said through the whole election. That's all I said through the whole election. He's a Democrat. Huh?
I mean, and I get that, and I said the same thing, but at the same time, I mean, I know this, I had this thought in my head, I'm not sure if it ever actually made it out of my mouth, but it's one thing to know that something is going to happen and to be expecting it. It's another thing when you're watching it unfold and nobody gives a damn. I think that's the part that concerns me the most, because And that's part. I think that's part of it. Trump has seen the numbers that when they run the numbers, 60% of Trump supporters would follow him off a cliff if that's what he told them that they needed to do, and he knows it. So he knows no matter what he does at this point, he's got 60% of his base that are going to follow him around, and that's going to be enough for him to hold on, and that is enough for him to slide left and try to see how many people he can pick off from that side of the argument. And I understand that, and math-wise, that makes perfect sense. But you don't go to the queen of the snowflakes, bend yourself over the table and drop trow and wait for her to put the strap on in, which is exactly what he just did. I don't understand the move here. I really don't. And I'm sorry for the visual, but this is a late night show, and I'm just being honest. I don't understand the move here. I don't understand the stumping with Democrats. I don't understand the propping up Pelosi. I don't understand any of it. And the fact that the people that are supposed to be on our side of this argument are like, well, it's okay because he made Boehner and he made Boehner and Ryan look stupid, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, or the whole, he's just setting them up. He's just playing them.
Or not Boehner, but McConnell, sorry. You guys knew what I meant.
He's setting up Pelosi and them, and he's also setting up the GOP establishment. He's getting it all done at one time. He's draining the swamp. No, he's not. He's not draining anything.
He's not draining the swamp. He's swimming in the bitch. He ain't draining nothing.
He's backstroking. Spitting water in the air.
Oh, I wish we knew somebody that was good with memes, because I only know one guy, and he's too diehard Trump to put it together. That would be a great meme. Donald Trump backstroking through a swamp with spit with the water coming out the mouth. Oh, did I tell you guys I was going to drain this? My bad.
The water's nice. Come on in.
You know, I know we said that. That actually would be a great caption for it. I know I said that I was going to drain this, but now that I'm here, the water's pretty fine. You should come on in.
Yeah. I said it all along. You said it all along. Plenty of people we know said it all along. You know, and I'm not going to, you know, I'll still sit here and, you know, when he does something that is good, I will say he's done something good. But I'm not going to give the man props for the shenanigans going on right now. And that's what it is. It's all shenanigans. He's in.
Our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Sorry, you know the rule. You say the S word, you get the clip.
He wasn't a politician. He is now. He's now a politician. I will not, again, listen to anybody say, well, he's not a politician. No, he's a politician.
Oh, yeah, he's officially a politician.
Didn't take long. Yeah, it didn't take that long.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what you want to say about him now, he's officially a politician now. And I think part of what is driving me crazy is, you know, there has been some inroads that I've made here locally to try to figure out the best place to map out to put AOTR here locally, because we're working on trying to get some inroads. So I've gotten to know, not personally yet, but professionally, a couple of different radio show hosts that are on with the number 2 station in the metro out here. And I keep hearing them talking positively about the things that he's done over the last week, and I'm just like, I don't understand it. Does nobody see this but me? Because I don't mean to keep harping about it. We probably need to change topics, but it annoys me because everywhere I turn in conservative media, he's getting props for what he's just done, because in their mind, he's going to do exactly what Bill Mitchell has been telling everybody he's going to do. He's playing Pelosi, don't sweat it, it's 4D chess. I swear to God, Bill Mitchell has become like Alex Jones when it comes to the 4D chess thing. Because, it's like he could be on air, and all he could do was like thump his chest and yell 4D chess for an hour, and people would still listen to it. Don't sweat it, it's all good, 4D chess. I'm like, I don't understand it. But anyway, we've talked about this way, way more than we probably should have. So let's move on to another topic before I have an aneurysm.
Hurricanes.
Oh, yeah, you mean those things that, now the left is convinced that Donald Trump is some sort of evil comic book villain mastermind who has a weather machine in Mar-a-Lago pointing at the thing and drawing the hurricane in because it's going to impact Latinos.
That thing. Yeah, that. Okay. I was in a little conversation on Facebook the other day with someone Rick Canton. And we literally had 3 or 4 people on there talking about the fact that these hurricanes are happening because the government is seeding clouds. Listen. Our government did not cause the hurricanes. I'm just putting that out there right now. I honestly cannot believe that people are really saying this, that these hurricanes are our government's fault because they've been seeding clouds. I mean, if you saw this thread, you would be laughing so hard. I mean, I only posted in the thread a couple times, but my last one was something along the lines of, well, this escalated fast. I need to go now and tend to my weather machine. You all can blame me for the hurricanes. That was my last post. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thread. And these people were calling, like, Rick a 12-year-old because he was, quote-unquote, insulting them. Well, if you really think that the government caused these hurricanes, maybe not a little thing called El Nino or something, but the government, then no, you have no right to call anybody a 12-year-old.
Well, come on. Just to be fair, we all know that fluoride is turning the frogs gay, so I'm pretty sure the government has a weather machine somewhere. Sorry, that was my lousy attempt at a Alex Jones impression. Anyway, I just realized we're past the bottom of the hour, so we should probably take a break real quick. It might give me a chance to calm down. We'll be right back here in about 4 minutes. Stay tuned. Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
right, folks, we are back. We are live right now on KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign, where we do this thing every Friday night, usually at about 11 p.m. Eastern-ish, but this is Friday Night Lights season, so occasionally the show will be as scheduled, which means we'll start it as close to the top of the hour as we can. And sometimes, depending on how late we are, we may just decide at the last minute we're too tired, which has happened at least once that I know of so far this football season.
Yeah, that happened a couple weeks ago. I think we just kind of, when we got to the point where my time, it was like going on at like 12:15. Like, time to call it.
No, actually, by the time I had gotten home, it was like almost 1 o'clock your time, and I was like, "Do you still want to do this?" And you're like, "I thought so until you asked." I'm kind of spent.
Yeah, but it's all good. How did they do tonight, by the way?
Actually, they are now officially 3-0. They beat the Purcell Dragons 24-7, so pretty handily.
Excellent.
I wish I knew the name of the group that did it, because I would give them props by name, but I think one of the biggest turnarounds for us so far for this season is the Booster Club got together with a group that does basically conditioning training. It's basically a paid boot camp. And the funny thing is you watch the kids as they play, and you remember them last year, and how by about third quarter they were just really starting to look, they were panting, they're winded, they're still trying their hardest, but they didn't really have too much left in the tank. And after them going through this program all summer, and I mean, honestly, Washington is probably one of the hardest practicing schools ever. They have actually gotten in trouble. They started out as a 1A school. They got moved to 2A because they were practicing all the time, and they steamrolled everybody in 2A for like 2 or 3 seasons. And then since then, they moved them to 2A, and then they restricted how much they could practice, because they told them it wasn't fair for them to be able to continue to practice the type of hours that they were practicing. So they actually had to cut back on their practice time. So they found a way to get around it, because in the summertime, you're kind of allowed to do some extended practicing. So they paid for this group to come in, and they have positively been kicking ass the whole season so far. They dominated in a little scrimmage that we watched. They dominated they dominated most of their first game. It started trying to come apart there at the fourth quarter, but they still managed to hold on to it. They absolutely destroyed a team last week that actually beat them not once but twice last year, and was actually the team that knocked them out of their playoff hopes. And then this year, we were actually surprised, because last year, the Purcell Dragons, they really weren't that good of a team. Well, we were kind of caught off guard and caught flat-footed, because they won the toss at the opening, and they elected to receive. And the next thing that we know, 165-yard kickoff return and a short pass later, and there's a touchdown on the board with 45 seconds of clock running off. And we're all like, what the hell? And so then, everybody makes adjustments, and that was their only touchdown of the game, and we basically dominated defense for most of the rest of the game, and they came back defensively a few times. And basically the momentum shift for us was they were down in our territory. We picked it off, ran it back for like 50 yards, and then scored 2 plays later. And once the momentum shifted, that was pretty much it for the whole game. They were knocked back on their heels, and they never came back. Sorry, I didn't really mean to talk about it that much, but it was fun as hell to watch.
No, actually, that's really cool. I mean, it's like what we did. We have, and there are a lot of them here. It's really gotten pretty big. But when my sons were wrestling and I was coaching wrestling, I mean, what we did here in our city is we started a wrestling club, and we got involved with AAU and USA Wrestling. So basically, during the season, obviously, the high school wrestling team, they wrestled high school, that was it. But we'd encourage them to come out on, practice nights for AAU and help with the other kids, which is almost like a second practice, because we had middle school kids that were every bit, at least size-wise, what the high school kids were. And we'd have them come out to our tournaments and volunteer and help referee and stuff like that. And then when they finish with high school, they go right into AAU for about 2 tournaments before the state tournament, and they do that. And then we go right into USA Wrestling, which is like Greco-Roman and freestyle. And then they do that all through the summer. And then it's right back into conditioning because we're a 4A school, and we were limited on practice too. They were only allowed to practice so many hours a day. But they were only allowed to practice so many hours a day officially as a team. But they could come out and volunteer. It was volunteer work to go out and help with the younger kids in the AAU club. So even if they weren't really getting wrestling in, they were still getting conditioning in because half the practice is conditioning. They were allowed to do that. It's extracurricular. That the school system and the state couldn't do anything about that. You can't dictate what a kid does when he's out of school. That's what we did. We started this wrestling club, and it's big. You know, I mean, we've got a wrestling team with 60 kids on it, 60, 65 kids, ranging from 5 years old all the way up through 18 years old. But that's the way you got to do it. You got to find ways around it, you know. And these kids especially, you know, I'm not saying the whole wrestling team would come out, but the really dedicated ones, they would be there at the AAU practice every night. You know, well, not every night, but you know, it was 2 nights a week, but it's an extra 2 nights of conditioning.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what they've done around here. I mean, honestly, I've never lived in small town America before. I mean, I've lived in small-ish towns. You know, like Midwest City was not a huge town, but it was basically a suburb of Oklahoma City. So everybody just assumed, basically treated it like it was a part of Oklahoma City. But football is life around here, dude. It is crazy. I mean, like, they do this thing every year where they actually auction off the high school football players and the cheerleaders as work groups. Last year, they raised almost $25,000 off of the auction. This year, I think they got close to the same amount. And it's crazy to see that kind of money being thrown around for high school football. And I'm looking at the things that they do. Like, they'll have fundraisers where people come in and they actually cook real food. It's not stuff you buy from packages. They come in and they actually cook it. They actually bake things. And I was thinking, you know, if it wasn't for all these stupid rules and all these stupid bigger schools, that we would have so much more money for things, because that's how Washington still has extracurricular activities. These parents, they come together, they find ways to raise money, and they put it all right back into the school. They don't wait for the money to come from the government. They do it themselves. They are basically, they raise money for their band, they raise money for softball, football, track, whatever it is. If they don't have the money for it, they find a way to go make it, and then they put it right back into the school. And to me, that's just amazing, because you don't really see that type of stuff, at least even in a state like this. You don't really see that in the bigger towns, because they're not allowed to do those type of things, which is insane to me, because we're talking about things that literally build character. I mean, I have seen my son do a complete 180 since we have moved here, as far as overall attitude. I mean, he's always been a really, really good kid, but he's also got a hot streak. He's related to me, so can I get an amen? But at the same time, he's done a total 180. He's nearly a straight A student now. He's actually got schools looking at him not only academically, but because he excels in track and also is pretty good in football. So he's got a handful of schools sending him paperwork all the time. Hey, we want you to come check this school out. I don't think he would have gotten nearly as much of that in the bigger city schools. But it's because the parents here actually give a damn, and so do the teachers.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, we came from Prince George's County, Maryland, which is, I don't remember how many schools. And, you know, we were paying huge property tax, and my kids' schools were falling apart. But the lower income area schools were all brand new or getting renovated. You know, I mean, my kid's elementary school was like 60 years old and had never been painted. You know, we had good teachers. I would give it that. We had good teachers, but we moved here and, you know, it's not a big feeder system. It's one high school, one middle school, 2 intermediate schools, and 4 elementary schools. That's the entire school system. And yes, the high school is a 4A school, but the entire town takes huge pride in the high school. Huge pride. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the booster club and everything else. I mean, we have the best. You know, all the schools that we play football against. You know, I mean, they're all basically bigger county school systems. They all love to come to our stadium, and we have a pretty serious stadium with, you know, $1 million plus pro turf field, and it was all done by the boosters. I mean, part of it, I will say, is part of the money for the field came from Lowe's, who's headquartered here, but it was matching money. You know, the boosters went out and raised half of it, and Lowe's matched it. And it's why we moved here, was the school system. One high school. The whole school system is a feeder for one high school. Instead of having this, you know, where I went to school, Fairfax County, when I left Fairfax County, when we left up there, Fairfax County, Virginia, the company I worked for, we were in the middle of you know, the company I worked for, they were in the middle of renovating all the schools. 175 schools in one school system. 175. I mean, that's, you know, I'm in a school system that has 8 schools, which includes one high school. And it was I saw a total shift in my children moving here. A complete and total shift. They became much more grounded and much more serious about school and serious about athletics and serious about everything that to me really matters. And even with my oldest daughter, she wasn't into athletics, but she got into drama, and the drama department was fantastic. And all the parents came to get together. They would pick a play to do for the year, you know, and practice it, and all the parents would come together and we would build the sets. You know, and we would go out and we would get the donations, whether it be money or materials, to build the sets. And we would all, for 3 or 4 weekends, all get together on the weekend and put the sets together. You know, I have a construction background, so, you know, I'm cutting plywood and cutting 2x4s, and we're building stuff, and other people are painting them, and it was great. I mean, you know, I say was. I mean, my youngest daughter is going to be graduating next year, and she's really not into sports or drama. She's just into straight academics, which I'm totally cool with too. And I wish a lot more areas would get back to that. Start breaking your school systems down and let it be more locally run. But like you said, the people get together. They help the school helps them, and everything's great. I mean, I love it here. Best thing I ever did in my life was move to where I live right now. Best thing I ever did in my life. How did we think we were going to get on this subject tonight?
Honestly, the sad thing is I think I've enjoyed this conversation more because I'm just so
me too.
angry about the rest of it. You know, and it was one of those, it was actually one of those thoughts for me tonight because I've been so focused on what we're fighting for, I kind of forgot why we were fighting for it until I was sitting there enjoying a football game with my wife. I mean, granted, she was still getting mad at me because I was on my phone about every 5 minutes because, you know, I can't put the damn thing down. But it was still nice because I really didn't start getting too heavy into stuff until it was about halftime, because then I knew it was about time to start talking stuff up, because I knew we were going to come home and do this. But it was just nice to unplug from it for a bit, actually remember what it is that we're fighting for and what it is that we're trying to save. And that honestly, not to bring us back to this topic, but that's one of the reasons why I've been so pissed off at Trump all week. Because it's like he told us everything that we knew that we wanted to save, and now that he told us what we wanted to hear, he's doing the exact opposite in some cases of what he said he was going to do. Because I get it, the kicking DACA back to Congress, that's a good plan to a point, because Congress should have been the one to do it the first time. But putting them on a 6-month timetable or else is not a good plan, because he needs to leave it in the hands of Congress, because that's their job. And if they can't make it work, or they can't find a way to change it, then we need to enforce the law as it stands. Not, you have 6 months to do this my way, or I'm going to come in and do it my way anyway. That's not how that works.
Well, right. Not only do they need to just take care of it, if they don't, 2018's next year. I mean, honestly, one of my favorite words in my head now when I watch certain people speak or talk or see how they voted or see what they did, what first thing that comes into my head is primary. I want to see these guys get primaried so hard their heads spin. I really did. I mean, I've been so completely disappointed. I mean, I've been more disappointed in our representation than I have been in Trump since the election, and I did not think that was going to happen until this week. This week really bothered me with Trump. But up to this point, other than a handful of people in the Senate and Congress, I have been more disappointed in them than I have been in Trump.
Oh, me too, honestly. Because, I mean, at least up until this week, I could make some sense of some of the moves that he was making. I still think he needs to put down his phone, at least every once in a while, and focus on, actually doing things besides sitting on his phone. Speaking of which, just for the hell of it,
I think he's a little more focused than we think he is. I think there's plenty of agenda there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is I'm kind of starting to figure that out too, because I mean it's just starting to make sense that, especially with what he's been doing over the last few days. Speaking of which, just for the hell of it, have you heard the newest Third Rail Ramblers parody yet?
No, I don't think I have.
Want to listen to it?
Sure.
All right, give me a second. Sorry, I love it. So I've played it on pretty much every show I've been live on this week once it aired on Monday's show. So I figure why not? We'll round out the week with it. Besides, it makes me smile, and right now I can smile, so...
As my thoughts drew an image of a hollow Macbeth, I took a look at the right and agonized about the left, cause they've been cashing and bapping so long that even the buckley think that this party is gone. But they never lost a plan where they want the servant. We be beaten like a drunk, sovereign TV and turd love. We never watch how they stalking and interlocking. It's true with the status they be trying to walk. A calculated grip, but you gotta know, system's broke. Obamacare ain't gonna go, fool. He's the kind of be the little status wanna be, like saying please to the right. Principles ain't your birthright.
Been getting most for pride, living in a Trump-style paradise. When parenthood that's tight, living in a Trump-style paradise. Promise to all that's nice, living in a Trump-style paradise. But we got no sense right, living in a Trump-style paradise.
With this administration, they all but making the press lose their effing minds, getting hazed by the tweet, but they always be clowning the mainstream. Too much imprecision, botching, and apparent schemes. They be preferential fools with agenda on their mind. The PADNC gotta be demonized. He provoked pure rancor, oppressed, pimping canker, but his cronies abound. And they ain't just your average tool, but the press keeps breaking a scandal a day. Misgiving, strife, amplifying, can't brush away. He's in the seat now, but will he stay to be a sophomore? The way he be tweeting, I don't know.
Tell me why must we on the damn TV watch the POTUS deserve common decency? Been getting most for crying, living in a Trumpster's paradise. Planned Parenthood that's tired, living in a Trumpster's paradise. Promise to all that's nice, living in a Trumpster's paradise. But we got ghosts and shrines, living in a Trumpster's paradise.
Spicer and the Comey, Gucci got devoured. People making exits, used to have some power. Little what he's saying, about half of what he's doing. A marathon of fiction, but some of us be looking. Some say I got a spur, and others get on both knees. But they just be grandstanding, decision is just me. Some Trump I can, some Trump I won't. Most pundits suck, they be always baiting and clicking for the press pool.
Been getting muscle cries, living in a Trumpster's paradise. Planned Parenthood that's tired, living in a Trumpster's paradise. Promise to all that's nice, living in a Trumpster's paradise. But we got ghosts and trying, living in a Trumpster's paradise. Tell me why must he each day to tweet like Tourette's he's burned some crude debris? Tell me why must we each day to see the press start hurt on live TV?
Nice.
I absolutely love that one, and it's not just because it's really, really great. It's the first time that it was actually a full corroboration between the two. Beaker has always been the guy behind the mic writing the lyrics, and then Al usually puts the music together, and he's the front man. This time it was a true collaboration. You could actually hear Beaker singing some of the background tracks, which he is entirely too modest. He did an outstanding job with those. But just like everybody else that doesn't realize it until you talk to somebody who's done those type of things, because everybody's always self-conscious when they do stuff like that. The difference is you're either self-conscious about it and you dive in and do it anyway, or you're self-conscious about it and you let yourself get talked out of it. Because after doing this for nearly 9 years and singing for a living at one point, at least on the weekends, I made money going around to different churches that I was invited to. I preached, I sang, we got paid. It's just one of those things. It's you don't realize it till you actually just shut up and do it, that everybody has butterflies, everybody's nervous, and the difference is some people just work through it and other people just sit down. So I'm glad that Beaker did that, because it added an entirely new depth to the song. And even Al, who was...
Well, absolutely, and for people that don't know, I mean, a lot of people listening to us right now know Al, Al does a show on the platform. But for those that don't know, our buddy Beaker, he has been responsible for a lot of material.
A lot.
A lot. He's one of my favorite people. He's got a perfectly twisted sense of humor. Perfectly. And I don't know if I know anybody that can be more perfectly sarcastic either.
Dude, he is like the master of like just drop of the hat sarcasm. It's like he can hit you with it out of nowhere because you could. I mean, like I've even like made some perfectly innocent comments and not even really thought about it. And all of a sudden he's coming back with just dropping it right in your face. Like, did you not realize what you just said? Well, let me paint you a picture of exactly what you just said with words. It's gonna make you realize exactly what you just said and wish you hadn't. And I'm like, oh my damn.
He's fantastic, and yes. It's good to hear Beaker in the background.
I still stand by my...
His writing is impeccable.
After seeing a picture, I still stand by my claim that his real name is Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod. I'm just saying. All right.
He's not made of polyfoam?
Well, you know, he might be. You know, I'm not gonna spill all of his secrets. I said I've seen a picture. I'm not blabbing about it. I just said I've seen one. All right, so we are officially...
If anybody out there doesn't know Beaker, he's the polyfoam pontiff.
And he's awesome, and if you're not following, you're doing yourself a disservice. All right, so we are actually over by about 5 minutes, so I figure we should probably start winding things down. We got so distracted talking about actual fun subjects for a second, I lost track of time.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we went off on that tangent, though. I mean...
I feel better.
I think it really goes, I mean, it says something about where you and I want things to be. So.
All right, so on the way out, why don't you remind folks of where they can hang out with you when you are not on the radio hanging out with me? Yes, I said radio because we're on iHeartRadio.
You can hang out with me on Twitter at MadFeist, which is MadFiest, and you can find me on Facebook, and it's just Daniel Wright.
All right,
you just got to find the right one. I'm fairly well protected.
Well, you got to be. You know, you got all them crazy women chasing you.
I hear you.
All right, so anyway, I am, of course, Rick Robinson. You can follow along with me on Twitter at AOTR_host, unless you're a Trump supporter, and then you're going to be like the rest of these that are jumping ship tonight because they realize that I'm not a diehard MAGA kind of guy. Yeah, I've lost 10 since I put out the tweet about Hannity and Mitchell. Which I'm not going to read on the air because it wasn't very family friendly, but still, I thought it was funny. But anyway, and of course you can always do the old school thing and shoot me an email, which is how I get the majority of my hate mail, oddly enough. Most of you guys that email me, you don't like me, and that's fine. I think I'm actually going to start just doing it probably... Maybe on Thursday nights on the last show for America Off the Rails for the week, I think I'm going to start doing a mailbag and just be like, and this is the mail we've gotten this week. And just kind of read through it because I'm actually starting to get a bit of a stack, which is one of the reasons why I know at least one of the stations that I'm on somewhere is getting me some traction because I never used to get hate mail. Now I get at least 2 or 3 new pieces of email a day. So, yay, fun times.
Hey, that's like my favorite part of Dana's show is, you know, the hate tweets and stuff like that. It's fantastic.
So yeah, I'm thinking, you know, I might, you know, dust off the whole Blues Clues mail time thing and kind of mix it in with some other stuff and just kind of play it as the outgoing segment for the last couple minutes of the show. Kind of touch on some of the hate I'm getting from folks. But yeah, so just a bit of off-the-cuff brainstorming I've kind of had. I'm actually starting to get a little bit of fan mail too, but it is still mostly hate mail. And of course, you can always find me on the America Off the Rails show, which is the one that I do Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, and it's also available on various outlets. Actually, coming tomorrow, over the weekend, it's available on crndigitaltalk.com. So if you're not listening to it, you can check it out a plethora of ways. Oh, I just used one of those big thesaurus words.
One of those words.
Yeah, everybody. When I drop words like that, everybody asks me if I actually had somebody once that was listening, and they're like, "Dude, you usually have like a thesaurus sitting there so you can just drop big words in." I was like, "No, I actually have a vocabulary." Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's this little thing I learned in school.
Yeah, I mean, I talk for a living. I mean, the other job I do, it all involves talking. That usually requires that you have a decent vocabulary. All right, so we are officially out for the night, folks. We will be back with you next week. I believe next week will be on time because it is an away game, and it's a pretty decent clip, so I doubt I'm going to that one. If something changes, I will put out a tweet, and then we'll go from there. But we are officially done because I can feel myself fading. So we're out of here, folks. You guys have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. Spend some time with your family. Remember, no matter what it is you're fighting for, remember why you're fighting for it, and enjoy some time with the folks that you're fighting for in the first place. That is a lesson I tend to lose sight of quite often because I get so focused on everything that I'm trying to do, I tend to forget what I'm doing it for. So never give up the fight, but take a break once in a while and remember why it is that you fight. Good night, folks. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next week.
Everything is changing.